Welcome to Informed Investor. In this video, we will dissect the third quarter results of ITC Limited and give you some valuable insights. If you guys remember, this stock had been a favorite on social media courtesy of all the memes surrounding it and surprised us all with a surprising rally and eventually becoming the 11th Indian company to cross the 5 trillion market cap. Anyway, back to the story and let's discuss ITC's Q3 earnings. Established back in 1910, ITC or Imperial Tobacco Company is India's largest cigarette manufacturer and seller in the country. After being solely into cigarettes for around 6 decades, it finally decided to foray into other territories. As of today, ITC operates in 5 segments. A major chunk of the revenue, about 40%, comes from the sale of cigarettes, followed by FMCG at 27.8%, which includes its flagship brands like Ashirwad, Bingo, Classmate, etc. At 16.3% comes the agribusiness, followed by the paper and packaging segment at 11.1%. ITC Hotels comes in with the least contribution to revenue at around 4.5%. Coming to ITC's Q3 results, a concern was noted on the volume growth of the cigarette business. The cigarette business witnessed subdued growth during the third quarter, with a contraction of around 2%. However, there are 2 reasons for this. Firstly, as the third quarter is close to the announcement of the union budget, dealers usually stock up in anticipation of any adverse revision in excise duties. With this year being an interim budget and not a full-fledged budget, the usual stocking has not taken place, leading to a decline in volume growth. Second is the higher base effect. The base quarter, which is the December quarter of fiscal year 2023, saw the cigarettes business report volume growth of 15%. In fact, with the recent quarter earnings, ITC saw its cigarettes volume growing in single digits in the last 3 quarters. Overall, while the premium segment continued to outperform, the value segment saw weaknesses. Now, when looked at the overall revenues, ITC reported net revenues of around 164.8 billion, an increase of 1.6% as compared to the same period last year. This is arrived at after deducting excise duty and including other operating revenues. However, if looked at the quarter-on-quarter growth, there was a slight decline of 0.4%. This was attributed to the lower than expected cigarette volumes. When looked at the bottom line profitability of the company, it reported a profit of 55.8 billion on the standalone basis, an increase of 10.9% year-on-year and 13% as compared to the same period last year. Coming to the margins, ITC maintained a healthy margin of 58.4% of gross profit margins, which means that 58.4% of the business revenue is left over after the subtraction of direct costs such as labor and raw materials. Likewise, the EBITDA margins were healthy at 36.5% and were consistent with the recent quarter margins. Before we conclude, let's look at the segment-wise performance. The cigarette business, which generates a major chunk of revenues, reported subdued growth of 3.6%, while the premium segment continued to outperform, the value segment saw weaknesses. The FMCG segment witnessed growth of 7.6% despite a high base and challenging environment with staples, dairy, home care, notebooks driving growth. ITC's hotel business witnessed 18% growth on the back of strong growth in average room rate or ARR and occupancy. This was catalyzed with the festive season and massive event like the ICC Cricket World Cup that India hosted during the months of October and November. The agri-business declined 2.2% and was impacted due to various policy interventions of the government of India to ensure food security and with the broader goal to control inflation. Lastly, the paper and packaging declined 9.9% as was impacted by the low-priced Chinese supplies in global markets with muted domestic demand, surge in wood cost and high base effect. In conclusion, ITC's third quarter results presents a mixed bag of performances across its diverse segments. While the bottom line reported profitability, it was well below the expectations. And investors and market participants have reacted, leading to a decline in the ITC stock price. As of today, ITC is down by 2.5% and in the last 5 days it has slumped more than 7%. Having said that, this is me, Ralison, signing off. Have a great day and stay safe.
Did you like watching this video? Then download our app, Informed Investor, to watch more such informative and interesting videos.
Equity investments are subject to market risk. Read all investment-related documents carefully. Visit www.researchandranking.com